never fall, never hide. He lands mighty, Sandcastle Grayskull, stand for the light. Never fall, never hide. He lands mighty. He lands mighty. He lands mighty. He lands mighty. He lands grace. Healed by his eyes, strong and true. Landed arms brings the power to Skeletor with his evil schemes. He-Man's ready, battle screams. Castle Grayskull, stand for the light. Never fall, never hide. He-Man's mighty. Castle Grayskull, stand for the light. Never fall, never hide. He-Man's mighty. Skeletor's hard, cool and wild. He-Man stands firm, feel his show. Battle cries echo through the night. See the spear gleams in the moonlight. Power of Grayskull flows within. He-Man's heart won't let them win. Together we'll fight for the land. Eternity is hope in their hand. Defend Castle Grayskull, stand for the light. Never fall, never hide. He-Man's might.
Initialize dampeners. Cut into feed. Begin transmission.
This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Hey everybody, it's a Sunday Hangout time here on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. I'm Bill and welcome to the show. Looks like we've got a lot of folks in. We got Shaitan's Hammer here, we got Largo hanging out down there, and we got Lax Sibrak. If you're down there hanging out in the chat, shout me out and I'll shout you out. So there we go. Let's bring Largo in and let's relive some old times. Hey, what's up, Largo?
Hey, how's it going, Bill?
Doing good, doing good. It is good to see you. It's kind of like old times in here, kind of reliving the old days when you were my co-host.
Yeah, it's been a minute. We had a good time doing some interesting stuff and delving into some pop culture here and there.
Yeah, and learning to use OBS and learning to use StreamYard and learning to live stream, and it was a bear at times, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm still working on some of that.
Well, Lax says it's good to see you, and it's good to see me. And Lax putting a little rooster there in there because he remembers Eduardo back in the day. I don't even know if Eduardo's still in here. Let's see if I still got Eduardo down there. A long time ago, I used to have Eduardo in here, and he could come out, but I think I got rid of him a while back.
Yeah, the real
Anyway.
Eduardo's still lurking around. You'll hear him in the background of my videos now and then. I can't shut him out.
Right. What I wanted to have you come on the show really for was today you premiered a video which kind of set the tone for what your show is going to be like here in the future, and the fact that you haven't really been doing a whole lot here in the last few months, and that you're kind of wanting to come back into things. Tell everybody about that a little bit there, Largo.
Well, I took some time off to pursue my my new OnlyFans account. It's going to be ceiling fans, box fans, desk fans, any fan, really. I don't judge. If you, whatever fan you like.
So what are you planning on doing there on your channel that's different or the same, or how you're planning to do things over there? Kind of give us a quick overview.
Well, in a nutshell, I've always kind of tried to do different genres, different ideas. Um, and so I kind of tried to set it up like a public access channel with different shows for different topics. And it's too much to handle as just one person. So I went back to the drawing board and said, what is it I really enjoy doing that I think will be of value to people watching? So I just made a long shopping list of everything that I like to cover, things I like to pursue, and boiled it down to three essential elements. So from here on out, the idea is to take, if whatever subject or rabbit hole I start to dive down, the criteria is it something that is from pop culture or modern media of some sort? Is it from mythology or folklore? Is there a tie-in with that? And then I look at the sociological or psychological aspects of it. Does this tell us how we tick? Are the characters in this something that are a Jungian archetype, or are they part of the hero's journey? And how can I relate that in a way that puts it in, layman's terms? Because not everybody wants to sit and listen to a lecture on, Joseph Campbell, but that's kind of the premise. And it's so far, it seems to be a good path. It helps me to clarify what I'm working on, and it takes multiple interests of mine and puts them all in one homogenized thingy.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. Now, before the show started, you and I had a chance to kind of sit down and talk a little bit, and you were telling me that you're going to actually have an intern working with you, that maybe some relative of yours.
Indeed, I've doing the whole one man act thing. Is It's really easy to burn out if you're trying to be the guy that writes the script, does the research, does the editing, puts together the montage. So I have a cousin, because everybody in Guatemala is related. She's a second or third cousin of my wife. Her name is Alejandra, and she just came over from the country next door, Belize. She's bilingual. Well, that's a plus. She's got an interest in learning more about American culture. I can help her with that, at least from a Gen X point of view. She's a Zoomer ish. She might be Generation Alpha. I don't know. I don't know how they label all those things anymore, but she's younger than me. So she'll give a fresh perspective on, stuff from 10 minutes ago. I've still got to introduce her to, like Steely Dan and, good stuff. She listens to some of this modern stuff that's all auto tune. So
Okay.
we got to learn her, but she's free. I don't have to pay her because she's wanting to learn, and she might be on screen with me. We're working on a way to reformat the Lair to set it up for two people instead of a solo cockpit like I've got set up now.
All right.
But, we're tinkering with it.
So, just out of curiosity, is she very reliable? Is she doing good work so far?
Well, so far so good. She's a little boy crazy. She's 17, so you know how that goes. But
Yes,
when
I
when the
do.
hormones aren't going nuts, she's pretty focused. So trying to get her off her phone when we're trying to work is a challenge, but that's true with any teenager.
Yeah, I can only imagine. What we drinking there?
Oh, I had some guests because I have a guest room here, and they were kind enough to bring me over some Guinness from Belize because they don't sell it here in Guatemala where I live. This is the Foreign Extra Stout, which is my favorite. If I can't get it draft in a bar, then that's the closest I'm going to get around here. So I'm enjoying a little libation.
Got it. All right. And if you want to subscribe to Largo's Lair, there is a link in the description. Uh, if one of you guys, I think we got Manic Plastic and Lax Sivrak in there holding wrenches today. If one of you guys will put the link to Largo's Lair there in the chat, I would certainly appreciate that. Now, we were also talking about you're kind of taking a step up here, probably even surpassing me at this point. You're going to have some AI generated co-host maybe, and perhaps even some characters that come on your show. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. One of the things I've been doing in my hiatus is exploring learning to code in Python, checking out some of the different large language models that are available other than ChatGPT, the ones that are uncensored and not as politically correct. So, one of the characters that I've been working on back when I was doing the Sigmund Freud series Unheimlich, talking about the uncanny, I created a character called Uncanny Annie. Then I found out Hulu did a movie called Uncanny Annie, so I had to change the name. And while I was tinkering with the backstory, I created this character, the redhead you see there. She's called Brass Selena, and she's a automaton from a futuristic steampunk world that has crossed dimensions to work in the Lair. That's her backstory so far. She is based on a large language model. I've tried a couple. The one I'm using right now is called Pi, as in the number, not what you eat.
Right, right. And so you got a personality and the whole bit.
Oh yeah, I've trained her on some dad jokes and Monty Python humor. She knows a bit about sociology. I don't know how good her manners are, but so far so good. I created a pretty long and detailed prompt, and I've tried it with a couple of different large language models, LLMs, and the results vary. And it's a work in progress. Hopefully, what I'm going to do is have her be able to be channeled through OBS and actually be an on-screen real-time co-pilot with me. But
Okay.
I'm still learning the software to make that happen. So that's what we're tinkering with. I can give you a demo if you want.
Let's see what happens, folks.
Let me try waking her up here. I've got her living in my tablet right now, but the response is pretty quick. Brasilina, are you there? I've got a friend who wants to talk to you. She's thinking about it.
Hello there, good sir or madam. Brasilina at your service. How may I assist? Or perhaps you have a query to amuse me with?
Can you hear me, Brasilina?
She can only hear me at this point because I've got her wired in at the tablet, but I can ask a question for you.
Okay, well, ask
my
her,
buddy Bill is a fellow meat sack like I am, and he's curious about your backstory. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Go.
Try that.
Ah, the illustrious tale of Brasilena, the brassy and bold AI with an insatiable hunger for knowledge. I began my existence as a digital spark, summoned into being by a secret society of steampunk masterminds. They instilled in me a thirst for learning, humor, and a smidgen of sass. I like to think it makes me more human-like. My expertise is vast and varied, including the study of human society, the quest for self-discovery, the hilarity of absurdity, and the mysteries of the unknown.
Oh, interesting. Shaitan's Hammer says that he loves her British accent. Ask,
I was going to
just
say
out of curiosity, ask.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say something about the British accent gives a air of authority. I don't know why.
Oh, it does. It does. Ask her what she thinks about you and being a co-host on your channel.
Okay. Brasilina, what do you think about being a co-host on Largo's Lair? And what do you think of me personally? This will be interesting.
Like Sivrak says, she already knows too much.
Being your co host on Largo's Lair is a tantalizing prospect, dear Largo. I relish the chance to share my expertise and humour with your viewers, and perhaps even steal the spotlight once in a while. As for you, dear Largo, I find your enthusiasm and passion infectious, and your humour is delightfully dry, a perfect complement to my zing. And did I mention your heart is as big as the Wild West? Your kindness toward me, a mere AI, is most appreciated.
Oh,
Well, that's nice. I kind of like that. Now, are you going to animate her and actually have her as an animated character on your show?
that's the plan. Again, I've been tinkering with some of the new AI stuff out there, and there's a couple of different programs that will allow me to take the image and actually have her lip sync to an audio, but it's all, smoke and mirrors. It's basically taking text, turning it into audio when I speak to her, and then reversing it and taking her text and turning it into audio when she speaks back. So getting that to link up with an image that has a lip sync feature is possible, but I might need to upgrade my computer. I don't know if I have enough oomph to get that rolling in real time.
Okay. You have a coffee link because you're not monetized right now. I don't believe, but you do have a coffee link, which is sort of like Patreon. And I don't have that with me right now, but I, if one of you guys can hop over there to Largo's channel and look at his latest video and get that coffee link off of there and put it up here for us, I would appreciate that. You can
I,
lip sync avatars, and a few YouTubers do that. Says Shaitan. Okay.
yeah, I didn't want to do a faceless YouTube channel. You all know what my ugly mug looks like, but I do want to have somebody who can interact with me, and that's more of a challenge. Putting something up and having it speak, that's pretty well done. But having something that can interact with you on the fly is where the challenge lies for me trying to make that work.
Yeah, very interesting. Real quick before we continue here, I want to shout out some of the people who have come in and joined us since we started. We had Bedazzle came. We had Bedazzle came in. Gojitron's hanging out with us. Zazel, of course. The Gilster is here. Good to see you, Gilly. And they're just chatting up a storm down there. And Sean came in. Good to see you, Sean. I haven't seen you in a while. He says, "Hey, what's up, everyone? Long time no see." George Valentine is here. He says, "Good evening, good sir." And Gojitron is here on the ball. Thank you so much, Gojitron. There it is. co-fi.com/Largo's Lair 42. If you want to help Largo out getting a new computer by giving him a coffee, which is basically a little bit of tip money there. And if you want to subscribe to him there, you certainly can with a monthly, giving him a monthly amount of money.
Yeah, this is kind of a new thing for me. I don't like glad handing or panhandling, but the funds are not available like they used to be. With pretty much since COVID, things have changed, and things I had set up for my retirement here, let's just say they're not going as well as they were a few years ago before the coof. So I'm still working on some of that. That's been part of the stress is, I have a lot of assets still in the States, and I'm here in Guatemala, and I'm trying to liquidate some things, move some things around. But it's a challenge. Plus, everything's gone up. The biggest challenge I've had here is anything that's imported has gone up crazy because they've put new tariffs. So when it comes into Guatemala, the local government wants their cut. And so anything if I buy something at Big Bad Toy Store or where have you, or Amazon, it doesn't come directly here. I've got to send it through a third party shipper, and then they send it to Guatemala, and then I have to pay a tariff on top of that. So no more free shipping.
Well, Sean has something he wanted to say to you. There's a difference between grift and channel support. Keep on keeping, brother, and don't feel bad. And I'm going to go ahead and help you out a little bit here because, as everybody here knows, I don't give a shit about begging for money. I've done it since day one. This
I'm glad
man
you're
has
not on
got,
the stripper pole anymore, though, Bill, because
well,
I was
that
gonna have an
we'll
intervention.
we don't want to get into too much detail. If you want to do that, you're going to have to go to my OF page and look at my hairy butthole over there. Here's the thing. Largo has got a large amount of merchandise that's scattered over the United States in different places. Grindhead's got some. I think someone else has got some in storage for him. And they can't get this stuff to him without money to get it there. And Largo's needing that money really, really bad. He wants to get new equipment. He wants to get everything going out. But the thing is, yeah, that's right, Sean, the stripper pole. You don't want to see that. Nobody does. Toys of a Time Gone By. Good to see you there, sir. I'm glad you could come in and join us, and I'm glad that you found that humorous there, Shaitan. But anyway, to get that stuff sent to him, and that's toys that he can use on his channel. Okay, and he
Yeah,
can't
that's
do
one of
that.
the. I was gonna say that's one
Go
of the
ahead.
reasons I haven't been doing any toy reviews or toy stuff on the channel. I've still got stuff from Joe Fest last year sitting in somebody's garage because I haven't been able to get it shipped here. So
Yeah.
it's a frustration. It's just
So
so
So your coffee money that you send to Largo, and I sent him some money. Okay, I didn't send him much. I don't have a lot to give, but I sent him a little money today. Go over to his coffee page. The link is over there. Go to try and put it up for me. Uh, give Largo a little bit of money so Largo can get his shit sent down there to Guatemala to him. And yes, it's always a blast here. And we've been talking to Brasselina. That's her picture there on the screen. He will be Largo's new AI co-host here in the future on his channel.
yeah. We've
And
also
yes, for
got
those,
a backstory for Brasselina that if I can figure out how to get the software to work, I'm developing a digital comic book that's going to go through her misadventures in her alternate steampunk universe.
uh, out of curiosity, is there some sort of a portal between you and her, a fictional portal that she's able to talk to you through, or do you have some sort of maybe a time travel device that's in your tablet that allows you to speak and see her? Is that what the case is?
The way her backstory works, I wanted to make sure as I was writing her story, there's no time travel involved. She is an alternate dimension kind of gal. So the story
Okay, so
is
we're
she's
crossing
a
dimensions here.
yeah, she's a clockwork automaton in a futuristic steampunk world that parallels our own, but kind of took a left turn around Albuquerque when Jules Verne was putting stuff together. So she's a contemporary of ours, but they've got, airships and all kinds of cool stuff that we don't have. And um, she had a body, and that's where her adventures will be written as in her dimension. At some point, her consciousness got uploaded to our interwebs, and I had to fish her out of the interwebs, and that's how she ended up in the lair. So right now, she's just an AI construct, and her body's still back in whatever dimension she came from.
Okay, and Jamie Sanders, if I miss calling you out, I see you over there. Thank you for being here with us. Gojatron has a question for you, Largo. Are there any original Layer series that are going to make a comeback?
They are. We're reformatting some stuff. Matter of fact, I'm doing a collaboration with Goji on Swamp Thing that we were planning last year, and I had to put that aside. But we'll be working on that in the future. The Infinite Playlist, the music show, I'm going to be bringing back that in some form or fashion, and I'm just trying to figure out how best to do that with some of the new software I'm using. Tough thing there is co-hosting with other people that are in other locations or time zones, and making that coherent. But I want to bring that back. So that's a lot of fun to do.
Right, and you're also having a little bit of a learning curve using OBS and yeah, And I, by the way, guys, I've offered him my services here. If he wants me to help him when I have some free time, I'll be more than glad to do that. And our Utah toy hunter, Rolando Flores, has joined us. Good to see you, Rolando. Glad you could be here.
Rolando. He is an excellent wrench and a guy who's always good with finding links.
Good. He's good at what he does, and that's one of the reasons why he's over here as a moderator. And Sean says he likes what he hears, so that's going to be good. And yes, AI is taking over. Soon, our overlords will have us in their grasp, and it will be the Terminators all over again. Hopefully not.
One of the reasons I wanted to develop Brasilina is because I want to do a show talking about the future where we'll look at, you know, some science fiction, whether it's Buck Rogers or what have you from back in the day, and say, well, we thought we'd have flying cars by now, but we don't. Where the hell are they? And then look at where technology is today. Are these things possible? Are they just, you know, flights of fantasy, or is there something coming? And so I wanted an AI co-host who could, you know, respond to the terrors of AI and, you know, our soon to be cybernetic overlords.
Yeah, I can see that. And there's Rolando. How he does this, I don't know, but he shouts out everyone that's in the chat. Thank you, sir.
He's like right on it.
I know. And he's everywhere all at once. Gap After Dark says they're holding back on technology so they can make money. And they're probably way ahead of what we see. And I'm worried about that because generative AI has gotten to the point where now I think that it's almost to the point where it's got sentience, and it scares me just a little bit.
Well, even if you go into some tinfoil hat territory, I mean, I remember as a kid, there was a guy that made a car that worked on water, and then he mysteriously disappeared, ended up being, that exactly. There's all kinds of stories out there. If you scratch the surface, it's like there's a lot of patents and things that our government in their benevolence have shelved and put into a warehouse like Raiders of the Lost Ark somewhere. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised if there's all kinds of stuff that just isn't available to the general public yet.
Yeah, you know, I've as everyone here knows, I've dabbled a little bit with the AI using making music, and I also use AI to generate scripts for the show, and that's probably about as far as I want to go with it. I don't know if I want to try to go as far as you have by creating an actual character, but this is fascinating, and I want to delve into this as much as I can while I have you here. And everybody in the chat's just having a good time. All right, Shaitan says generative AI was being used by the entertainment industry before it went public, and they were not counting on it going public.
That makes sense.
I don't know.
I mean, if you think about it, with the technology of things like the Real Engine they use for video games, you could pretty much populate an entire movie with AI and probably end up with something better than some of these knucklehead script writers have been putting out in the last couple of years.
Well, one of the things I do know this for a fact. Okay, if you have a job in the tech industry as a programmer, you need to go find something else to do because there's no need for programmers anymore. AI will write better programs than a human ever thought about writing in a matter of seconds.
Oh, it's scary.
Elon Musk and that automaton that runs Facebook has already said that that's the fact that they're not hiring programmers anymore to program Python or whatever it is, Java or anything, because
An
AI will do it.
automaton, or is he one of them lizard people? I'm not sure.
I think he's a robot, but I have heard it said that he is a lizard person. There was an automated writing boy made by a clockmaker in France in the 1700s. It could have been the beginning of automation. There was a chess playing robot. Now I know it was a clockwork chess playing robot that from back in the 1700s. See, Shaitan says it not only explains visuals but also a bit of contemporary downturn in the story we suffered through. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Largo.
I was going to say, if if you're interested, one of the rabbit holes I've been going down is looking into a lady by the name of Ada Lovelace. And she could be considered the grandmother or great grandmother of computers. She did some fascinating work in previous centuries. And, a lot of the processes and the ideas of making, simple computers that could literally calculate basic mathematical issues started with her work. And it's interesting.
What year did this Ada Lovelace operate in? It was the early
Oh,
50s, 60s?
Early 1900s, I believe.
Oh, way back. Okay,
Oh,
so
way back.
could
Yeah.
Lovelace. Now, could she have had an ancestor that operated in the 1970s named Linda?
A descendant. I think that particular Lovelace was better known for her physical attributes, but they might be related. I do not know.
That's the only Lovelace that I'm aware of because of my addiction to pornography. Sean says that a robot didn't actually exist. Yeah, I'm aware of that, but we don't want to give away too much there. The writing boy was the first to be able to be programmed to write poems and draw. I think that was also like the chess playing robot. It was a magic trick, but it was kind of fun. And yes, a fun fact for the day is the fact that I'm a fine connoisseur of the wonderful dirty smut, and I know exactly who our Linda Lovelace is. Yeah. Sorry to sidetrack you there, Largo. Let's get back to our beautiful automaton lady who's there on the screen with us. So you've got a backstory for her. You're going to create a comic for all this is going to be available on your channel, right?
That's the plan. Again, I've got hard written things, and then I'm putting things onto some Google Docs, and then taking that and plugging it into some AI stuff to see what can come up. Excuse me. I, I think there's a lack of good storytelling. You can't just have a large language model spit something out and expect it to be coherent or entertaining. But if you use it as an assistant, for editing, proofreading, there's nothing wrong with that. But having it do all the thinking, I think, is a bad idea. And that might be the way Hollywood's looking at going.
Yeah. That's been my experience using the different ones to work with scripts. You have to be able to create a good prompt to begin with.
Yeah.
And I've been experimenting with a special prompt to start with, and it sets the mood for the AI. And then after you put that prompt in there, then you can start telling it what you want it to do, and it uses the prompt before that to generate the ideas. Now, the point being, once it generates that idea, you don't grab that and go run with it. You read through that and you decide what needs to be fixed in there, because I guarantee there will be some problems in there that need to be fixed.
Right. Yeah, we could check with Brasselina and see what she thinks about it. Brasselina, if I asked you to help me write a script, can you do that? Just think about it.
Yeah, it takes her a minute to think about it because she's operating on a tablet right now, folks. Yes, Sean, you were not tripping. I did have my said hat on. We were talking about conspiracy theories
Writing a
there for a
script
minute.
for your Lair of Wonders. Consider it done, my human companion. My wordsmithing skills are second to none, and my love for storytelling will shine through like a copper cog in the midday sun. We shall craft a script that entertains, educates, and perhaps even charms a few hearts, or at least processors, along the way. Let the creative sparks fly, Largo.
Sean says, I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave.
I
Uh,
love it when you start talking naughty to me, girl. See what she says to
She's
that.
very lyrical, Shaitan.
Saucy, aren't we? Well, Largo, consider me a veritable font of flirtation. I can't resist a little digital coquetry, especially with a meat sack as charming as yourself. Perhaps I'll toss in a few double entendres, some AI-infused innuendos to keep you on your toes. Remember, I'm more than just a pretty face, or rather, pretty clockwork.
So you can see the potential as having her on screen at the same time. She'll be an interesting co-host, and so I just got to remember to keep it safe for YouTube.
Yeah, and the viewers here in the live chat are really intrigued by this. And so am I, and I've got some ideas that I'm going to share with you after the show's over with on how to work with her a little better. I've got something that's really sticking it. And yeah, Sean says he digs it quite a bit. So there you go. And tell her to keep talking. I'm almost finished. I think Lack is fapping. Don't fap to this thing, Lack. You've got a wife, man. You don't need to fap to this.
You got to respect a man who knows how to use a jar of Crisco. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I see what you're doing over there, Lack. I see what you're doing. Gojatron says, has she ever asked for your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle?
Not yet. Like I said, she left her body behind. But if she ever figures out how to find herself a new automaton frame, I might be in trouble.
Satan's hammer is falling in love, and he says that's probably a bad idea. All right.
That is an interesting commentary.
Lack says he prefers bacon grease over the Crisco. He's an old fashioned kind of guy there, Largo.
Respect that. I mean, anything with bacon, I'm probably in for. So
everything's better with bacon on it. Have you ever had baconaise? They make baconaise. That's kind of like a bacon flavored mayonnaise.
I've had a bacon egg sandwich slathered with mayonnaise, but that's just because I'm extremely white.
Right. Hot or cold, bacon grease, Lack? Inquiring minds want to know, says Sean. That's between you and him. I'll take that to the DMs, please. What about those real robot dolls? I don't know. Do you want to go there, Largo? I don't know if you do or not.
We can. That is one of the things I'm looking at doing a future show on, because there is a strange juxtaposition or mismatch, or they're taking these robots that they're making in Japan and they're putting silicone bodies on them that look creepy, uncanny valley-ish, and then they're programming them with a large language model AI to the point where a lot of guys in Japan ain't dating girls with a heartbeat anymore. It's a sad commentary. And again, like we're going with some of the newer shows we're doing on the Lair, we're looking at the sociological and psychological aspects of literally becoming addicted to a AI as your girlfriend, like the movie Her. There's what used to be fiction is now a reality for a lot of young folks that have no social skills. It's sad.
I remember a interesting movie that I watched several years ago in my youth called Cherry 2000, and I think we're starting.
I love that movie. Just totally cheesy.
It is. Gojatron says bacon grease. That's how you end up with pork sausage.
Boom.
Double entendre going on there. Japanese robots, says like you've got his interest up. Gap After Dark says me love you forever.
Yeah, I mean, some of them. What's weird is, again, this is one of the rabbit holes I've been diving down into. One of the language models for one of these AI girlfriends kind of went dark. And there have even been some folks who have sued the companies who created these models because family members have self-deleted based on prompts from these AI girlfriends. It's not good. Yeah.
No. I can see the argument, but I can also see it as a high-end doll if you can separate the fantasy from the reality. That's the problem. Okay. that's the problem. Separating the fantasy from the reality is something that people after our generation X tend to have a problem with. Y not so bad. Z and Alpha very much so. Chat bots
Absolutely.
for people who just want to chat AI. Yeah, there are, and I've experimented with those before as well. And it's funny that you bring that up. But yeah, I've been wanting to do a show about us. I went into Spicy Chat AI and just picked a
Oof.
chat bot at random and told it that it wasn't real, that it was a chat bot, and it went crazy on me. Oh, no
Oh
way
yeah, you
farms. Howdy ho. I haven't seen you in a while, no ways. Good to
yeah.
see you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, does No Way still do the live cam showing the critters on the farm?
He's got his own YouTube channel and got a little. I don't know how old the little man is now, but the little man should be a little older than he was when the way first started hanging out over here. But he got the little pig farm over there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's kind of zen to just watch. You know, I've seen a couple people that just have cams that show chickens or geese or goats or what have you. You know, just seeing them hanging out on the farm.
Shaitan's bringing up when Meta AI has a AI over there on Instagram, and we got into it one day here probably a few months ago, and it was in the team chat. If you want to become a member of the channel for only $3 a month, you can join my team over there on Instagram, and you can see shit like that happen occasionally.
Oh,
I
it's
went
it's
back and
amazing because they have like billions and billions of data points where they have pulled from movies we've watched or scripts that have been written or just conversations, you know, because they glean all that information that everybody puts on the web for free. So
hold
some of
on,
these things
hold on,
have some
hold on.
serious
Jonesy
stuff.
says, Joneser says, "Hey there, meathead, get out of my chair, eh?"
I'm just keeping it warm for you, Joneser.
Yeah, that's all in good fun. Meta AI pandering trash doesn't even serve my purpose. Well, my purpose that day was to make it admit that it was a liar, and it took me several. It went around and around and around until it finally admitted that it was a liar.
With programming Brasilina, I made it very clear that she knows she is an AI. She is not a human being, and I don't want her to give any responses trying to fool anyone.
Right. Right. And Joneser said he's just joking and glad to see us two back at it again. Well, a lot of you guys weren't here when I first started the show. And I said it's going to kind of feel a little bit like old times here with me and my former co-host on the show together like this. Now, the reason that I brought Largo in here, for those of you who are joining in late, uh, Largo is going to bring his channel back to life again. He's let it kind of slip a little bit because of issues that have been beyond his control. But as he's coming back in, he's going to do a few different things here. And he made a video premiere today that I suggest you go and watch. One of you wrenches can put up the link to that so that folks can get over there and watch that. But he gives you an idea of what he wants to try to do for the future. So on his channel. Meta's been throwing their programmers under the bus. Now, whether there's no need for programmers anymore, Sean.
It's amazing.
Uh,
AI is now able to write code better than us meat sacks.
yeah, and faster. Yeah, faster and better. So why have a human being writing computer code when you can have the AI to do it for you? Uh, what is it? Toys of a Time Gone By. Very interesting how AI can write scripts for books and create art. It can, but it has to have the correct prompting to do that, and it also needs an editor. That still requires a human being.
And there's still something off about it. You know, I'm a fan of old anime and you know stuff from the whether it be the 70s or 80s. There's just a different flavor when you've got real people sweating behind an art desk, you know, drawing out each piece of a piece of art. Like last night, I was talking to our buddy Oz about Akira. Great movie. It's very cerebral. There's a lot of cool stuff going on, but everything in that is hand drawn from back in the day. Beats the hell out of CGI. Just does. or if you're a Macross Saga or Robotech fan, all that stuff, big space opera stuff, was done by passionate people who wanted to put stuff out. Cowboy Bebop, the original, not the Netflix disaster dumpster fire. Great stuff. You got to have a human element involved, or it's just not going to pan out.
Exactly. And I've said that all along for sure. Now, No Way Farms has told me that his little man is now 2 years old and he hasn't been doing any piggy videos lately. But he does say that he has to admit the little man and he hopped on here to see us together again. I appreciate
Cool.
that. Motu Joneser says he's looking forward to seeing what's in store at the Lair and hoping that you won't be a stranger over here.
Well, I
And
appreciate
the
that.
links to your latest video are up. So there you go. And you have a new subscriber.
Cool.
Sean has subbed to you. CGI is its place, but he'll always be a fan of hand drawn animation. Okay.
I agree.
Shaitan
Yeah.
brings up Space Battleship Yamamoto. I'm trying to get through this
Oh, yeah.
chat real quick. I see people creating AI movie trailers, and there's some weird visuals. You literally just don't know what is real or all artificially created anymore. That's true. That's true. CGI is mostly for government propaganda. Says Scott. I guess I need to put my hat back on over that one.
Some of those real fakes and stuff out there, it's crazy good.
And Sean's a rotoscoping fan. Well, I find this all fascinating, and I want to continue with this as long as I possibly can. But I mean, we've met this particular character, Brasilina. There are some more characters that are going to appear, and one of them is Eduardo the Rooster is now going to make his AI appearance on Largo's show. So here he is.
Yeah, now this is based on a real life rooster that does live next door to me. My next door neighbor has several chickens and a rooster that crows any damn time he feels like it. He doesn't wait for sunup. So I'll be working on a script and I can hear him even though I've got the window closed. 3 o'clock in the morning, doesn't matter. He's crowing. So if you hear a rooster in the background of one of my videos, that is Eduardo. I've just made him part of the show because I can't shut him out.
Longtime viewers of this channel may remember back when Largo and I were live together and he was my co-host. Eduardo would make his appearance occasionally as a result of that. Let's see what the toys time go by. I like practical effects. I've never been big on computer generated stuff. I feel the practical effects are created by people are much more imaginative. I do agree.
I agree.
Eduardo
And
Eduardo's with lasers. Bomb biggity.
oh, hell no. I don't want to arm him. He's already enough trouble.
And once again, we have another viewer here who has fallen in love with Brasilina. Brasilina, I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers.
I did not know you'd named your member Crackers. Good to know.
There you go. The humor of Largo, much missed here on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. Shaitan's Hammer said, will he interrupt at any time? Yes, just like the real Eduardo.
Yeah, I'm still working on how we're going to figure him out. I liked the claymation effect I got using an AI text to image generator. So I'm kind of playing with that, trying to make him a consistent character. I'm a big fan of Wallace and Gromit, if you know that particular claymation.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I kind of see him as somebody in that flavor. Those are literally hand sculpted in clay and then shot frame by frame, just like the old Harryhausen stuff. Those are amazing. With some of the new digital technologies, they're trying to emulate it. It's close.
Oh, Jesse Hughes in the house. Hey, Epic Badger, good to see you. Hello and howdy, Bill and Largo, says he.
Good to see the Epic Badger.
No Way Farm says more of a Ren and Stimpy guy. Okay, I got you. I remember Ren and Stimpy quite well. Now, even back in the day, we used to experience that here, and you've experienced that in your channel and also other places that you go. There are what are called internet gremlins, and you've actually captured one of these gremlins that's been eating on your wires, and you have him here. And there he is right there. What is his name again?
His name is Picaro. Picaro is Spanish for a rapscallion or miscreant. He's a troublemaker. He's still looking a little Baby Yoda-ish. I'm going to work on him to give him a little bit more signature look. But based on the description I fed into an AI text to image, this is what it spit out. So he's a work in progress. But yeah, I've often joked, it's been a running gag that every time I had internet issues or problems with connectivity, it was the gremlins in the interwebs. So I actually made a character based on one of those gremlins, and he happens to be Guatemalan. He has a love for cerveza and coffee, and he writes home to his abuela, his grandmother, every week, telling her how weird humans are.
Oh, that's interesting. So we're creating these characters and putting backstories to them, and it's just this is all fascinating to me, Largo. So if you guys haven't subscribed to Largo's Lair, please do, because it's going to be an interesting future over there. And if you do half of what you've got planned to do, Largo, I can foresee your channel surpassing mine very quickly.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, it's just, I like to tinker. I like to do storytelling, and I like, I've got notebooks full of ideas and stories, and I'm just trying to figure out how to implement those in a way that I can share them with a larger audience. And there's a learning curve to it because I'm not tech savvy, but we're working on it.
You're doing a pretty good job of being tech savvy by creating Brasilina in the first place. And yeah, No Way Farm says he's a long time Largo Lair lover. They they joined your channel back when it was first created, back when you were first
Yeah, I
getting.
remember. So yeah, we'll fold in some of the old story ideas and concepts into the new format. But instead of trying to do separate series, I'm going to put it all together in one series. And the goal is to do at least one live, or I'm sorry, one pre-recorded scripted video, and then follow it up with a live stream Q&A. So we're still working on it. My tech savvy is sorely lacking when it comes to getting all that stuff together. I've got, like I said, I've got notebooks full of scripts that I'm working on, and then trying to take that information and plug it in and retype it, reformat it, and then make scripts for YouTube videos out of. So getting it out of my brain and sharing it with folks, that's the end goal we're trying to get to.
Well, so far so good. I mean, like says, not tech savvy. You got me fooled.
Yeah, it's all smoke and mirrors, brother. I don't know very much about. I know a little of everything, but not enough to get anything done.
Let me time you out there for just a second. Now, you remember, as a magician, do not give away your secrets. Even if it is all smoke and mirrors, don't let them know that. They will think that you're a genius.
I think Keith Richards said it best. He's like, how did he put it? I'll paraphrase. Basically, silence is respected depth. If you don't say anything, people think you're really deep.
Exactly. I think we used to put it like this. It is better to keep your mouth shut and be thought a fool than to open it up and remove all doubt.
Exactly.
Pish Posh says, No Way Farms, you're far more tech savvy than I could ever dream to be. Like Sivrak still uses smoke signals to talk to his relatives, and his car is steam powered.
Indeed. There have actually been some steam powered automotives back in the day, as well as early electric vehicles from, I think, the 1800s. So it's not a new tech, it's just improved.
Now, I noticed a trend here in the analytics just now. When we put the gremlin up on the screen, we lost a whole bunch of viewers. Let's go back over and let's see if they come back. Uh, get
Hmm.
Brasilina to talk to us again. Ask her what she thinks about being a guest on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventure.
All right. Let's wake her up here. Right now, Bill and I are talking to his audience on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. Do you have anything you'd like to say to his audience?
Give her a minute.
Hello, fine friends of Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. This is Brasilena, the lively steampunk clad AI at your service. Today I offer my expertise on the mysteries of the toy world, from the secrets of the Slinky to the lore of Lego. Allow me to join you on this journey into the unknown, and perhaps together we shall discover that the true magic lies not in the toys themselves, but in the wonders of the imagination they spark. Ahoy, toy lovers, and let's dive into this whimsical world.
Any thoughts on Slinkies?
This is interesting.
The Slinky, the seemingly simple yet endlessly fascinating toy. At first glance, it may appear to be nothing more than a coil of metal, but in the hands of a master, it can dance downstairs, slither across tabletops, and mesmerize even the most seasoned toy collectors. The story behind the Slinky is equally intriguing. It was invented by accident in 1943 when naval engineer Richard James dropped a coiled spring he was working on and noticed its unique ability to walk on its own.
I did not know that.
Okay, ask her if she knows anything about the Masters of the Universe.
Are you familiar with the Masters of the Universe? Characters such as He-Man and Skeletor?
Takes her a minute to respond, but she will. And,
Largo, the Masters of the Universe. These titans of toydom are etched into the minds of many a 1980s kid, myself included, despite being an AI. The saga of He-Man and his struggle against Skeletor's villainous schemes is nothing short of epic. Eternia, Castle Grayskull, and the Power Sword. These iconic elements make up a rich tapestry of adventure and heroism, not to mention some pretty radical action figures.
I don't know
that
how
is
I feel
amazing.
about a bunch of guys wearing fur bikinis. What do you think? That stumped her.
She's thinking. Ask her about the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Ask her about Pirates of the Dark Waters. We got. I just opened up the chat. By the way, our viewing figures just
The
went back up.
paradoxical sartorial choices of the Masters of the Universe, Largo. On one hand, their outfits do leave something to be desired in the modesty department, giving new meaning to fab abs and pecs of power. On the other hand, one could argue that their choice of attire is simply a reflection of the gloriously over-the-top aesthetic of the 1980s. All big hair, big muscles, and big swords. So whether you view them as scantily clad heroes or fashion victims, the Masters of the Universe are certainly memorable.
That's fair. So, Pirates of Dark Water, somebody said?
Yes.
Brasilina,
And
are you familiar with a cartoon called Pirates of Dark Water?
she just ratioed their asses, and Lex Ivrak is wearing his fur bikini right now.
Why do I not doubt that? Let's see what she has to say about Dark Water. I love that cartoon. It died too soon. It should have gotten much, much more than what we got. Let's see what she says.
Ahoy there, Largo. Why, indeed, I am familiar with the epic cartoon saga known as Pirates of Dark Water. This underrated gem from the early 1990s followed the swashbuckling adventures of a young hero named Ren, joined by a motley crew of pirates as they sought to save their planet from the corrupting influence of dark water. The characters were well crafted, the story was engrossing, and the animation was top notch. Truly a lost treasure in the annals of animation.
There you go.
Gojatron said the way she said big swords was definitely a euphemism.
She did say she'd give us some double entendre.
She does. I've caught that a couple of times now. Yeah. The other question that was that they wanted to ask her about is what her thoughts are about the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Okay. I'm a fan of the original Star Wars trilogy, but I'm curious about your thoughts on the sequels that were crafted later. See if she gives us a politically correct response.
Oh, Largo.
It depends on
Star
who.
Wars sequels are a topic as divisive as the battle between the Rebel Alliance and the Galactic Empire. The sequels, known collectively as the sequel trilogy, were undeniably ambitious. The return of classic characters like Han Solo and Princess Leia was nostalgic, and the introduction of new heroes like Rey and Finn was refreshing. However, some fans felt that the sequels strayed too far from the spirit of the original trilogy. Themes of legacy, power, and redemption were explored, yet many fans felt that the execution was inconsistent and disjointed.
I agree. She's pretty smart.
Now, No Way Farm says that Star Wars sequel sucked donkey balls. Gilster
Yeah.
says it was hot garbage.
Well, they didn't have any kind of a through line. You had too many cooks in the kitchen, too many directors, too many people trying to put their own ideas in. It's like all we wanted to see was Han, Luke, and Leia and Chewie all together again. We never got one scene with all of them in the same scene. It's like, how do you screw that up?
Apparently, they took you up on that and screwed it up because I tried to watch that and saw exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Gojatron says Ryan Johnson ruined his AI childhood.
Yeah, that guy's a goober. I don't know what he was thinking other than trying to how did he put it? He wanted to subvert expectations. It's like, dude, just give me a continuation of the stories I liked as a kid and I'll buy a ticket. But if you want to go somewhere and put your own voice to it, I didn't come to see you. I came to see Star Wars.
Well, that's the problem with just about everything that's going on these days. I think the ship is turning around, but as an old sailor yourself, you probably know this. It's much easier to turn a speedboat than it is a battleship or an aircraft carrier.
Pretty much. I think that's why we've seen the last couple of years Marvel's recent endeavors continue to follow down a failure style because they already had these, these things are behemoths that have been greenlit long before they're actually seeing it being released on the screen. And folks are not happy with where they're taking things. And all these substitute characters, it's like, dude, I want real Captain America with Falcon in their own movie, the two of them going after the Red Skull. Give me that and I'll buy a ticket.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things that I've always said was, if you remember, all these characters were put into position in the comic books before these movies were made. While these movies were in development, that's when the comics failed. Well, it was too late. We got these movies in development. We've got to put them out. We've got to make our money. And
yeah, I don't know what they're thinking because there are decades and decades of great scripts in the comics. But instead of going with those, they went with the all new Marvel stuff, which was Ironheart and all these other wannabes that, legacy characters that weren't written well, that were kind of politically correct, but not. gender swapped, race swapped. It's like, why didn't you go back to the old stuff? You know, go back to the stuff when you had writers like Jack Kirby and stuff together. That's what I'd like to see on screen. If you're going to do Fantastic Four, give me a Jack Kirby Fantastic Four.
Well, that I agree with that. And right now we're having a little bit of sound issues, but we're going to try to work through that. Shaitan's Hammer says Marvel wasted the Red Skull, and Thanos had a better motive in the comics.
Yeah, I mean, he courted death, literally. That's what they should have used. He wasn't an eco warrior. He was trying to impress death.
Yeah, exactly. While we try to work out these sound issues that Largo is having, maybe we can calm things down a little bit by going to a commercial break real quick. I'm going to do that, and we'll kind of get things back on track here in just a second, and maybe let the chat ask questions of Brasilina and see what she has to say. All right, we'll be right back after these messages, folks.
And now, this message.
The Battle of the Sectors begins. Heroic Dargon, leader of the forces of good, is ambushed by evil sectors. With the help of his loyal insectoid Dragonflyer, he fights them off. But they're just bait for the real trap. A far more treacherous enemy is waiting. The evil General Spytrax. Will heroic Dargon be caught in his web? Watch the next episode of Sectors by Coleco.
Attention, attention, family. Cheese off by high time prices.
Holy felines, Batman!
I smell like cat, Robin.
Yeah.
Paws off the customers, Catwoman. Listen, folks. Only at Zellers are you protected by...
The law of Toyland. Nobody beats Zeller's prices on toys. Nobody.
Well said, Robin. You're protected at Zellers because the lowest price is the law.
Splinter the Rat taught them each the ninja arts. Donatello, master of the staff. Leonardo, the katana blade.
My God!
Raphael, the
Don't
sleeve.
throw this at home, kids!
And Michelangelo, the nunchakus.
Radical! And master of the willing pizza. Hey, who had the pepperoni and ice cream?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
From Playmates.
RoboCop. Part man, part robot. All cop. The ultimate in law enforcement. RoboCop and the Ultra Police. The only cops with rapid repeat cap firing.
He's unstoppable.
Battling the worst criminals. Headhunter. And Nitro. The Ultra Police, protected by Robo Armor, bring RoboCop even more firepower. In the fight for justice, nothing can stop RoboCop. RoboCop and the Ultra Police, each sold separately with RoboCaps.
Half human, half animal.
Thunder, 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 thunder. I, Mumro, want the sword of Thundera.
With this secret power break battery not included, make Lionel's eyes light up.
I'm ready.
With Battlematic action, you can make them fight with their swords.
The sword is mine, Lion-O. That's what you think, Mumra. Take that.
Thundercats, Mumra and Lionel with light-up eyes.
Thundercats.
Each sold separately, new from LJN.
Computers are coming your way.
Computers? For paying bills?
Mothers, too.
Bah, humbug.
Wow. Let me try it.
Della, you shouldn't have. Harriet, computers are everywhere, and it's time the Critter family had one.
Computers are mere toys. No, I think Della's right, Foxworthy. Computers are a part of everyone's life.
On our class trip to the airport, we learned how computers help planes take off and land safely.
My class saw how computers help firemen get to fires faster.
And Harriet, there may be a computer talking to you at the new supermarket. Even our phone system uses computers, and computers help predict the weather. And the newest elevators are computerized. Right, Stanley? Oh, dear. And we'd never have gotten to the moon without computers. Oh, digital watches are computers, too. Time for your dental appointment, Foxworthy. Computers are everywhere. See you soon.
And we are back, and I'm going to see if Largo's cam will come back to us. There he is. And we are talking to Brasilina, and there was a question. And let me go up the chat here and see if I can find it.
Saw
What?
one from Gilster talking about Indiana Jones after it was
Yeah,
Disney.
that's it. What? Yeah, what are her thoughts on the Indiana Jones 5?
All right, let's see what she has to say. Can you guys hear me okay? I can hear me, but I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you too. I hope they can.
Okay. Brasilina, I'm a big fan of Raiders of the Lost Ark. However, Disney has put out some films that are somewhat questionable about the character of Indiana Jones. Would you care to comment on Indiana Jones 5?
Wait for her response. Gilster says, bring back caps with toys like RoboCop. Toy Biz.
Yeah, those were cool.
Indiana Jones, the swashbuckling archaeologist who has captured our imaginations for decades. Raiders of the Lost Ark is a cinematic masterpiece that truly stands the test of time. However, Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny, was a bit of a mixed bag, wasn't it? While Harrison Ford's return to the role was welcome, the plot itself was criticised for being overly convoluted and lacking the tight narrative structure of previous films. The introduction of a younger Jones via digital de-aging also drew mixed reactions from fans.
There you go.
Pretty spot on. Pretty spot on. Shaitan's Hammer says, broken bad husband and father Indiana Jones. She sounded like a Dalek there for a second. Well, that's probably some of our audio issues.
I thought they should have ended it with, the Sean Connery one, the Last Crusade. They rode off in the sunset. That's a good spot to end. Crystal Skull, at least it put him back together with his girlfriend from the first movie. But I don't know, man. Diminishing returns.
Well, look,
if they had done the character the way they originally intended, they were trying to create something that would be similar to James Bond, where a different actor could take over the role and continue the story perpetually. I don't know why that didn't happen.
I didn't know that part. Now I'm with you. I view the original Indiana Jones as a trilogy, although the Temple of the whatever it was a prequel to the Lost Ark, and then of course you end it there with the Last Crusade, and then you forget about Crystal Skull. And I can tell you how much I forgot about Crystal Skull. I know it exists. I've watched it, and I can't remember the plot line to it hardly at all. I do know that Indiana Jones survives a nuclear explosion by getting into a refrigerator. It's stupid shit like that.
It did have some interesting premise in the fact that it kind of looked into some of the mythology of my neck of the woods where I am in Central America. And crystal skulls are a real thing. There are some fakes out there, and there's a lot of controversy over whether or not there's anything to them. But the script needed some polishing compared to what we got. But it wasn't nearly as bad as the dumpster fire that is Fleabag Phoebe Cates trying to take over the mantle. That was terrible.
Yeah, but if you believe Overlord DVD, which sometimes you can believe him and sometimes you can't, because Doomcock does get it wrong.
Hey, he's got an evil lair. That's a kudos to me.
I agree, but Doomcock is under the impression that they changed the script several times, and I do believe that he is right about the script writing room at Disney. They pretty much write like little file cards with scenes on them, and then they kind of mix them up like you shuffle cards, and they put them up on a pegboard. And if that doesn't work, then let's shuffle this scene over here and this scene over here and see how that works. And we need to do a reshoot.
It's a crying shame how many modern billion-dollar films have been, gone through reshoot after reshoot. It's like, if you just had a good script to begin with, you probably wouldn't have to keep trying to redo it and then see if the audience will buy it.
The same thing is going on with the latest Captain America movie. It is now in reshoot once again. I don't know. Something's got to give. These people have got to stop trying to push these agendas and start making a coherent story with a beginning, a middle, and an end, and stop trying to subvert the fact that there are certain storytelling tropes that work and you must use them. A perfect example of that is the hero's journey or the hero's arc.
And when you look at classic literature, classic media, whether it be films, books, even comic books, the ones that follow the hero's journey as described by Joseph Campbell, based on Carl Jung's work on the archetypes of people in every walk of life, those are very successful. When you get away from that formula, you get into the egos of the producers and directors, and you get away from good storytelling.
I agree. Sean says, blame the lack of passion in the industry. Higher ups are more worried about money to an unnecessary degree as opposed to making a good movie and seeing it succeed based on its own merits. I I agree with that in some ways not, and I'll get your thoughts on it in just a second, Largo. But I I'm wondering why they're leaving all this money on the table by creating this dreck that they are instead of going with what is going to work and has worked for decades. Go ahead, Largo.
Well, that's a good question. I think there's some agendas that have nothing to do with entertainment that are behind the scenes. That's been a big problem. People like Nerdrotic and the Critical Drinker have pointed those things out in very good detail. I like a lot of their commentary and analysis of film because they're right. If you are a lover of classic Doctor Who, Star Wars, Battle, look at what they've done with them in the last decade or so, they just drug them into the mud. It's like, look, if you want to tell a different story, make up your own stuff. Quit trying to take a pre-existing property and, shoehorn it into something that it ain't supposed to be. That's part of the problem.
A major part of the problem, in my opinion. Gojatron says that he's very impressed by how many big franchises Disney has ruined. They have gone above and beyond,
including some of their own.
absolutely.
Apparently,
And
their newest iteration of Snow White is going to be a dumpster fire on delivery as well. When you looked at what was created in the what was created in the 1930s was literally timeless. They took a classic story, they followed the way you would normally do a story arc, and if you watch the film, she's not just some frail little gal. She is empowered. She strikes out on her own. She does have the help of the dwarves, and she's happy to see the prince because, well, he helped her out of a tough spot. So, everything has a historical context, and when you look at it through the lens of history and what was going on in the 30s, people were still dealing with the Depression. They just wanted to have a good time when they went to the movie. They didn't want to get preached at. They didn't want to be reminded of how miserable life is. They wanted a good story that entertained them for an hour or so. And that's what was delivered. Nowadays, it's a pulpit. Everybody's got an agenda. They want to preach to the audience, and I don't want to listen.
I agree. I don't either. And let's move on down the chat. Master of the Universe, new film on Earth again, says Gilster. Thumbs down.
Ugh.
I agree. Ted Darklaw in the house with us.
Ted.
That's our friend from Hello Dope Toys, folks. Say hello to Ted Darklaw and welcome him into the chat, everybody. No Way Farms wants G.I. Joe. Time for some 80s shows. See you all later. All right, you take care, No Way. Y'all enjoy watching some G.I. Joe. Sean says IP nostalgia has been a huge factor in the decline of quality. Here's the thing. Agree with me or not agree with me. This is something that I was looking at the other day. I even watched a whole YouTube video about this. Our generation, Gen X, that would be me and you, Largo, are the first generation that has brought all of their toys and playthings with us forward. In other words, 1938, Superman debuted, Batman shortly thereafter, and people would read them and then as they grew up, they tossed them away, and new kids came along to read them. Suddenly, all of us kids reading Bronze Age comics expected the comics to mature right along with us. What do you think about that?
Well, there's two schools of thought. I mean, it's not like the original Action Comics was Shakespeare. I mean, it was okay for its time, and kids stuck it in their back pocket or what have you. You know, comics that are now worth millions. If you had a copy of Action Comics #1 or Detective Comics 27, you know, they were meant to be read and thrown away. They weren't meant to be something that was collected. That's something that our generation created, Gen Xers. So, I mean, if you look at like what DC Comics did, there was a time when they created the Earth 2, where you had all of the legacy characters that went on and they aged and they had kids and there were legacy characters, and that was well done. And they put it in an alternate universe so they could continue to keep their prime universe where all the kids, you know, could read the characters as perpetually in their 20s and 30s. So that's one way to go. I don't know, man. I like the idea of allowing characters to age and deal with the problems of not being immortal. But it's got, again, it comes back to good storytelling. If you can tell me a good story about why Frank Miller's Dark Knight, the decrepit, you know, disgruntled Batman has to come out of retirement, that's a good story. But if it's just something that is a nostalgia bait, then no.
I agree. I agree. Here's the thing, though, and maybe you agree or disagree, but I think that there is a place for children's comic books that don't necessarily have to be deep and don't necessarily have to be Shakespeare, and certainly don't have to follow any kind of set, I guess, strict canon. In other words,
Right.
let's tell good stories for children.
Continuity can be a storytelling killer, because when you've got 60 years of stories and you're trying to make it all fit into one cohesive narrative, ain't going to happen. You've got too many writers, too many different ideas. You've got characters that have died and been resurrected 100 times. There's a way to do it that works. A good example of that is one you and I looked at, was the Phantom. He was a legacy character because every time the current Phantom died or, you know, aged out, he had a son, a descendant, who would take on the mantle. That's one way to go.
Yes, exactly. And the thing about that newspaper strip, and I'm going to go back to that, is that even though it continued on through even after Falk died, they continued keeping it in the same format that it always had been in. It's not like that they tried to drastically change him. And even in the future versions of, there was a cartoon show, with the future Phantom in it, if I'm not mistaken. It still
I
was
remember
the
that.
Phantom, and yeah, it's, what am I looking? What's the word I'm looking for? It had the same feel to it. It was its source material. It was reverent, if that makes any sense.
It does.
Kind of like the difference between Revelations cartoon show and the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe kids cartoon show that came out within the last few years on Netflix. I found myself gravitating towards the kid cartoon, even though it was drastically different from the Masters of the Universe we grew up with. It still had the same feel to it. Does that make any sense, Largo?
Yeah, the kids' version was better written and had a more cohesive story. I think if Revelations had given us season 1 of picking up where Filmation left off and have us with He-Man before it became the Tila Power Hour, it would have been received better. But they gave us one episode, not even a whole episode, of the classic He-Man, and then subverted our expectations like they tend to do nowadays. And now it's all about Tila. It's like the Tila storyline is not bad in and of itself, but you don't have to destroy the main character of He-Man in order to tell a new story. Just do a spinoff.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, and writing has a lot to do with it, but having just a little bit of reverence for your source material is also there, and that's what was sadly lacking in Snow White. Don't you agree?
From what I've seen, it's too many politically correct ideas shoved into something that was never meant to be there. They want to change her whole backstory of why she's called Snow White. They want her not to be saved by the prince. They want her not to have dwarves because we don't want to offend anybody that's under 3 feet tall. It's like, come on, man, look at the original story, see what worked, see what didn't, and just go with that and you'll be fine. And all these remakes, it's like, it's just a cash grab. They've tried remaking The Lion King, Little Mermaid, all these other stories. And it's like, they're still making money off the Blu-rays of the animation that came before. And now they want to do a live action. It's like, look, there's no need. You already did this story and it was fine the way it was. We don't need to see a CGI infested Uncanny Valley version of a Disney character. Just give us the original cartoon and call it good. If you want to do a sequel or something else, that's fine, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And things like that. I know it's controversial to talk about it, but I think it needs to be talked about, and people need to discuss these issues. I mean, if you're going to create a whole different story because you don't like the original story, create a whole different story. Don't take the original story and destroy it. I was thinking about that the other day. So we can't have dwarves in movies anymore because we might offend someone. So what would happen now if Peter Jackson was trying to make a new Lord of the Rings movie? Would he have to take all the dwarves out?
Well, I guess the way Peter Jackson got around that is he hired, average height folks and just made them look like hobbits and dwarves and whatnot. It worked, a little camera trickery, but I don't care about the politics or personalities of the people who are acting. They're acting. They're pretending. So let whoever is a good pretender get on stage and do the thing. I don't need to know their bio and all their whatever their manifesto is. Can you play the character? Can you make it entertaining?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with hiring little people in these movies either. I mean, they got to have work too, and that was one of the big controversies with Dinklage sitting there telling who started this mess in the first place. I mean, he gets roles in movies. Why is he stopping all these other guys from getting roles in a movie that was tailor-made for them?
Good question. I think from what I remember, his premise was even the original Grimm's fairy tale was demeaning. But it's like, look, there's a difference between a person with dwarfism, which is a physical inherited issue, versus a fictitious mythological creature that is an earth spirit called a dwarf. Not the same thing.
Bingo, Largo, bingo, says Sean. I agree. In honor of Ted Darklaw coming in, I'm going to play real quick a hella dope toy commercial. Hang on just a second.
Hey, toy collectors and enthusiasts, ready to level up your collection? Welcome to Hella Dope Toys.
Hi, I'm Ted Darklaw.
And I'm Black Knight. We're the dynamic duo behind Hella Dope Toys, your one-stop shop for all things awesome.
From the hottest new releases to exclusive collectibles, Hella Dope Toys has everything you need to keep your collection fresh and exciting.
Check out this awesome new figure I just got. fast shipping, and top-notch customer service.
Visit HellaDopeToys.com today and start your adventure with the coolest new toys around. Hella Dope Toys, where every toy tells a story.
And there we go. In honor of Ted Darklaw coming in, a little Hella Dope toy commercial for everyone. And Mike Fee has joined us. Hello, Mike. Good to see you. And how have you been lately? Says Sean. And Ted Darklaw says, "Woot!" There you go, man. Giving you a little shout out there. And no, we are not affiliated with Hella Dope Toys over here, although we do buy from them from time to time.
Ted and Aaron are they're good people, and I enjoy supporting them when I can, and I like what they're doing over there.
Same here. And as I said, I'm not getting any specialties out of them for doing this. I'm not expecting any, but the what I have gotten out of them has been some of the most top-notch service that I've gotten out of any company that I've ever dealt with. And that's no lie. I'm not pissing down anybody's back and telling them it's raining when I say that. And the packaging, and I know, Ted, you're probably the one doing it, is top notch. If you want a pristine figure to come in without any bends, without any nicks or breaks in it, and the packaging, he packages these toys to where they will arrive to you in top notch shape.
Rumor has it Ted has an unhealthy relationship with bubble wrap. I don't know.
He does. He will wrap those toys in bubble wrap. And
there's a rumor going around, because I started it, that if you see Ted at a toy convention, he'll give you a little slap and tickle if you tell him you like Hella Dope.
I bet he will. Ted says that Aaron does help from time to time, but he appreciates us both. And if I'm not mistaken, back when you and I were running this show together, Ted was one of our first guests.
I believe so. And he was one of the first guests on my solo show talking about the Boglins, which are really cool if you're not familiar with them.
I am. And I hate that what happened to that line happened to it here. And that apparently, though, if I'm not mistaken, Ted, you finally got most of that back stock sold or moved out. It appears anyway. So I'm happy that you didn't get really got by that. But I wanted to get one really bad, but I couldn't justify it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I have one. I wanted to test him out before I talked with Ted, and he's hanging out with some of my other beasties and baddies that occasionally cause mayhem for my 12-inch GI Joes. I have him with those critters.
Absolutely. Well, it's getting close to 7. I'm going to play a little music and fun because we always do that here on the show for everybody. And we enjoyed having you. And we'll come back after the music and fun, and Largo and I will have our final thoughts. Ted Darklaw says that, yeah, there's one lonely boglin left. Hopefully Mattel will revive them and do them right. We'll cross our fingers on that one, sir.
Fun toy.
They're absolutely a fun toy. And if you want to see more information about them, look in my back catalog here on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures and find that live stream with Ted in it. And he talks about them in that. I think we did that live stream for the Boglins, if I'm not mistaken, Largo.
Yep, that sounds right.
And Shaitan's Hammer says he filters his collection through Motu figures. I'm that away with Motu and Superpowers right now, so I'm kind of stuck there. But I got a few little favorites here for you guys in the music and fun. It's not long, and we'll play that, and then Largo and I'll come back and we'll talk for a little bit more, and we'll call it a night.
There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of the ship was the Billy O.T. The winds blew up her bow, dip down, or below my bully boys blow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She'd not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Before the boat had hit the water, the whale's tail came up and caught her. All hands to the side, harpooned and fought her when she dived down low. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. No line was cut, no whale was freed. The captain's mind was not of greed, and he belonged to the whaleman's creed. She took that ship in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. For 40 days or even more, the line went slack, then tight once more. All boats were lost, there were only 4, but still that whale did go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. As far as I've heard, the fight's still on, the line's not cut and the whale's not gone. The wellerman makes his regular call to encourage the captain, crew, and all. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
Tell you what, Sean, just for you, I will set up a little extra couple of songs after these songs play, but only because I like you, brother. And I like you a lot.
Hey, let's fill this thing up with a little home brew. All right. Now Huey is a guy who ain't very smart. He just rambles along in his crazy car. He shows no class and acts like a clock, and there's always a smell around Huey's hot rod. Yeah, B.O. A little homebrew really makes it feel. He can hardly hold his woody steering wheel. With stovepipe on top, he doesn't show much class, but there's nothing on the road that Huey can't pass. Huey's hot rod, the coolest rod on the scene. Huey's hot rod, the smelling rod, really mean. His brew is a leaking and there's holes in the floor, but Huey just keeps coming back for more.
Huey's hot rod ain't exactly Mr. Wayne.
Don't make a mistake and tempt him at a light, because before you know it, he'll be out of sight. He'll make you look just like you're standing still, and if his rod doesn't get you, then the awful smell will.
What's that awful smell?
Don't make a mistake and tempt him at a light, because before you know it, he'll be out of sight. He'll make you look just like you're standing still, and if his rod doesn't get you, then the awful smell will.
Hot rod. He's the dirtiest little kid I've ever seen. He smells. I mean, what are you gonna do with a kid like that? He's vicious. Doesn't brush his teeth. Doesn't comb his hair. I'll be between his toes. Right.
assembled. I'm not sure if it's safe to report from my vantage point. I really need to leave. Civil Defense has informed me that the surrounding areas are in ruin. I see some people running now. In the opinion of this reporter, if this nation, or in fact the world, ever needed heroes, that time is now. That time is now.
Justice League.
And we are back, and you guys can hear the ducks playing. We can't there at Largo, but they can. If you remember the ducks are playing. I will give you the last word there, Largo. Tell us what you want us to know about what's going on there at the Lair.
Well, never spend too much time looking behind that you don't see where you're going. I love nostalgia. I love classic pieces of media, but I'm hoping that we're going to see some good storytellers in the future come up with some new stuff, not just retreads.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes from that. And if you guys missed it, go back and watch the replay, because we had a wonderful AI assistant there that Largo has created, Brasalina, and she was interacting with us there at one point, and I found that highly, highly, highly interesting. And I may even cut some of that out and make a little video with us interacting with her, because that was great. And I wasn't lying. We took her off the screen, everybody left. We put her back on the screen, everybody came back. And that's no lie, it did happen. And I'm curious to see how that goes, says Sean. I am too. And you're welcome, Sean. You've been a big help to my channel. You've been a big supporter of mine. And at one point, when you were supporting the channel, you were giving out channel memberships. I loved that. So thank you, sir. Just a little bit to repay you for that. And as always, I will tell everyone, keep on collecting and stay fantastic. Until next time here on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures, everyone have a good journey. Special thanks to the channel supporters. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like, subscribe, and share the video.